Hey, you. Yes, you. Let me borrow you for 1 second. I'd like to have a talk, a little chat-ski, if you will. Shoot the breeze. See if we can relate on something here. A little self-reflection about your work ethic. A smidge about your perspective on this industry and your attitude and how you approach customers. And how this might be inevitably killing your progress with your pockets. For starters, what is it that you are great at? Deep down inside, what do you truly believe that you are great at? And what do you suck at? Now just hear me out, nothing negative here. What if we got a little bit more comfortable with being uncomfortable? In essence, really diving in onto who we are and what we represent. Why don't we look at a different perspective here and try to get us from maybe a zero to a hero, or better, to the best. But first, let us clear our minds of the disgusting, repetitive, predictable, and degrading comments that we get from our customers when they're trying to tell us that they don't want to buy.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to go and talk to my husband. No, not today. Do you guys do 0% over 89 months?
Too much. I cannot afford it. No, I need to be about 100.
I want for free.
$100 a
If you
month.
cannot do for free, I will not take for free.
It is against
I'm
everything
sorry.
I believe in to have interest on this
Listen,
loan,
if
so
you
I
get
cannot
me a
take
good
it.
deal, I'll bring everybody from my family here and we'll buy cars.
I'm not taking it today. What are you, crazy?
Horrible, isn't it? It's like we could replay this in our mind because it just happened maybe an hour ago or yesterday or so often that it's imprinted our brains that we can't get it out. And the very fact it affects us so profoundly that we react, and that is the problem. Why are we reacting? Why don't we try to be a little bit more proactive on how we will respond? Because what we're used to hearing and what you do every single day is, "No, they're not buying today. They're just tire kickers. They don't want to buy a car." Boss, he's not buying today. Trust me. I tried everything. He's just here to look. Oh, he was just at our competitor's dealership, and he said that he's only here just to see if we had a certain color. He doesn't want to do anything today, though, because his wife is in Belgium, and she's supposed to go to Miami next week. And when she gets back to Miami, he's going to conference call her, and then hopefully she'll land in New York. And that's when we can do something, boss. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you're reacting the same way, giving up, giving customers attitudes, how do you expect to make more money? Aren't you realizing that these are the ones you inevitably have to sell? Because let's be honest, there's not everybody out there just saying, "Please sell me a car and I'll take it at whatever price you dictate." So how do we do it? Well, we have to change our reaction. We also have to change our perspective of customers. We have to be a little bit more proactive and making sure that we're ready to fire at the hip at anything that is thrown our way and to give the customers a feeling that we care. Essentially, not having a trauma response anymore because you're so sick and tired of hearing why they won't take the car today and inevitably thinking they're going to buy it somewhere else and that all of your time is wasted. See, this is the key. We know they're going to do these things, right? So what are we doing to better prepare for the scenario? We have to work on the responses, mold the approach a little bit instead of being combative and "it's all about me and you buying the car from me and I am King Kong." I understand, Mr. Customer, that you have to speak to your wife about this very important decision. And I would hate to put you into a position of asking for forgiveness rather than permission. Please allow me to go over the different facets of this deal structure, all the car's options, so that when you sit down with her later on tonight without me there, you could present it in a more structured fashion. Or let's give you a quick win. You want to give her a call and tell her that we're not moving forward unless she says yes? Sometimes that works. Sometimes that helps us get over that hump. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I know you got to shop other brands and you got to look around at comparable vehicles. I get that. They're all great cars. But based off the time that we've spent together, I see that there's a lot of different facets of this vehicle that serve the unique needs of you and your family. If you'd like, we could sit down right now and kind of go over pros and cons of each manufacturer so you know exactly what you're walking into, so you're not inevitably driving around all day long taking test drives on cars that essentially drive the same. You see, people read about you guys. They expect predatory, combative, sly, slick, selfish. being extraordinary, extra friendly, caring to their needs, showing empathy in their concerns and what they want to do is going to set you apart from the typical sales guy that's like, I can't believe you're not buying this. I just did all this for nothing. Understand that pushing back a little bit is what customers are supposed to do. They're a buyer. The idea of telling you that they're not ready is strictly because they've been trained to say that. The idea of asking you for a business card is because they watched a YouTube video telling them to say that. In the hopes will cause you to have a reaction where you discount the car. So seeing is believing. These customers have to feel like they're getting the best deal, and you need to understand that. But how do we mitigate the amount of pushback we get from the customer? Well, it's simply built into your process. I know nobody likes doing the process because it's just overrated and takes too much time, and I could sell a car without giving a test drive, and who needs a walk around when they said they were at another dealership down the road and they saw everything that they need to see. This is where you're wrong, my friend, and this is the reason why you people, the people who make excuses for the outcome of your income, will never progress in this industry. But it's never too late to change, right? Smile when you greet them. Grab them with two hands instead of one when you shake their hands. If it's cold outside, go get hot chocolate, bring it over to them without asking. If it's hot outside, go get a bottle of water and bring it over to them. Show them that you care about their position, their physical being, their mental being, all through the whole entire process. Introduce them over to a service advisor. Tell them that this is the person that you're going to look for when you come in for your first oil change. Start planting seeds of ownership. Show them where the bathroom is. Ask them if you want to hang up their coat. Make them feel comfortable. The same comfort you would provide to your friends and family if they were to come over to your house. Now think about it. If somebody walked into your house for the first time and you just said to them, well, how long are you staying for? And I hope this is going to be productive. They wouldn't want to stay long at all. They probably stand by your front door and tell you that they're not taking their jacket off because they know they're going to be leaving soon. And they'd be constantly looking to have one foot out the door. This is the same thing that goes on in a dealership. When customers are coming in, this is not their house. They're not comfortable. It is up to you to make them feel that. It's up to you to be the concierge of their desires and their needs. Because spending this kind of money, whether you like to believe it or not, is a lot for most people. Don't immediately get down to business when they walk into the store. After you shake their hand and you introduce yourself, look at them and say, hey, I really love those shoes. Hey, I really love that jacket. Where is it from? Oh my God, you have some kids. Is this all of them? Talk about family. Talk about how you appreciate them coming in on such a beautiful day when there's a numerous amount of things they could be doing instead. Be human. And instead of robotically going, what car did you come in here to look at, and sounding like a salesman, be like, hey, did you check out that new redesigned Santa Fe, that new redesigned Sorrento, that new redesigned Highlander, that new redesigned GV80, whatever it is that you need to do to get them to tell you what car they're in there to see, because there obviously has to be something. Once they tell you that they're here for X, Y, and Z car or whatever it may be, walk over to that car and have a reaction of the century. Act like this is the first time you've seen this car too. Say that the color of the car is beautiful. Say that the interior is the most spacious interior you've ever sat in. Tell them that you wish one day that you can buy the car, and walk around the vehicle and ask them questions. Like the fact that they're there on the weekends, tell them, do you have off this weekend? What do you do for a living? Every single discussion that you spark with them, make it segue into finding out valuable information about what they do, where they live, why they drive, what they're buying the car to drive for. Everything that you say about the car needs to be prefaced with being great, the best, awesome. It has to be exciting. You have to be just as excited as they are, because endorphins are contagious. And now that you've done your walk around, you've shown them the car and you've made them excited about everything, and you've pretty much done your job, fingers crossed, you all make the same big mistake. You tell the customer, oh, I'm gonna go get the car so we could test drive it. Or you ask the customer, do you want to test drive? This is so paramount. The reason why I say that is because the fact that you asked means you are inviting the word no. A customer is naturally not going to want to do it because it puts them in an uncomfortable, vulnerable position. It's a lot easier for them to say, hey, I want to skip this step because I really want to get down to the nitty-gritty numbers. But it's important because we realize that them test driving the car will also make them fall more in love with it. It'll also give us the time of them being more vulnerable where we can ask them more personal questions like, so how much you paying on your current car? Make it right. driving a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. Isn't it feel great? Yes, yes. Doesn't it drive so silent? Isn't the sound system so amazing? When did you buy your last car? Oh, I bought it 3 years ago. Oh man, the programs were never better back then. Make it right. Whatever it is that you got to say to draw a conversation, plant seeds, and move the sale forward. And then when you pull back into the lot, find something original to say to them. I personally used to say, if you park it right here, sir, I just got to send it back to detail to get washed. I didn't say detail to get washed so you could take it home. I'm not being forceful, but I'm planting seeds. The seed's planted, it's growing, it's being watered. So they park the car, you walk back into the dealership, and all of you do this, and don't say you don't. You sit down, you put the customer information in, and then you look at the consumer and you say, so how much do you want to put down this time? How much of your monthly payment do you want to be at? Do you want to keep the payment the same? Or do you... Stop entertaining unrealistic conversation. Of course it's going to be more expensive. Of course the programs are not the same as they did 3 years ago. It's all going to be inevitably higher. But to say to a customer, what do you want to do, means that if you know inevitably it's going to be higher, they just told you, their friend, to go up to the desk managers, your sales managers, and ask for a structure that cannot be achieved. Therefore, when you come back, the first emotion they're going to feel is what? Disappointment. Disappointment, and that is not going to allow you to move forward with the sale with a very friendly vibration. And that's the most important thing, making it look like you're always on their side. So to avoid this, do not ask them what they want to put down, what their monthly payment needs to be. Go up to your sales manager, tell them exactly what you see, what you've been told, what you know, allow them to give you a number, and when you sit back down next to the customer, sit back down next to them. Work together. Show and make them feel like you are all in this together, and the guys up there are a bunch of bozos. And when the customer gives you a ridiculous response, this is another huge thing, stop saying no. Stop looking at them and taking ownership, which brings us over into accountability. You are not the dealer principal. You are not the floor plan. You are not the interest being paid on the floor plan. You're not responsible for it. It is not your business to tell a customer what you can and cannot do on a sell price of a car. It is your business to tell them the perception of what you think can be done on a car, because that's a consultative inside approach and helps the customer, but never ever take ownership of the vehicle as if you're the one discounting it, because then it makes it personal, like you're losing out on something, which would make this a sales transaction and get the customer out of that consultation type friendly feel. Now, if a customer gives you a really low ball offer, instead of getting really offended by it, look at them, high five them, and be like, wow, you came in ready today. That's a pretty aggressive offer. Listen, I've never seen it go for that low, but let's dive in and see what I could do here to kind of save you money and present something really nice where I feel like, because I know these guys, they'll be more willing to work with you. See, this approach gives that friendly, I'm here for you type of vibe, as opposed to standing on the other side of the desk and look at them and be like, oh no, that's not happening. Let me circle this and cross this out. Now, circling, crossing out is all very good, but in a friendly manner that looks like you're working with them as opposed to against them will get you a lot further. But when you're presenting the numbers to the customer, it's very important that you have 2 ears, 1 mouth, right? You got to listen more and speak less. When the sales managers gives you something after you've informed them of what they do for a living, what they're currently driving, all of your investigative work, it's important that when you present these numbers to the customer that you sit down, present it with ease. Listen guys, congratulations. With $3,000 down, I talked to my boss. He's willing to do only $389 a month today. Who's your insurance company, Geico or Progressive? When they say Geico, or they say, whoa, wait, time to negotiate. But it's very important you don't look at them and say, well, where did you want to be at? You have to find out by the same friendly conversation that you've been engaging the whole time. Slide over to them, be like, all right, let's put our heads together and figure this out. Now, I know if you put more money down here, it lowers this here. And I know that if you qualify for this rebate, if you do, I could lower the price of the car here, depending on what scenario that you're working, which is very important. Just stop getting combative immediately and thinking all doom and gloom because they didn't say, yeah, I'll take it right now. Yes, please sell me this car. I can't wait to take it. Hardly ever happens. So like I said from the beginning, Be better prepared. We're in the people-pleasing department, people. And really, honestly, what it comes down to is we need to understand that people just want to feel warm and fuzzy when they buy a car. Sitting there and combating them and making them feel like their wishes are not going to be granted, or that their perspective of a good deal is never going to happen, is going to inevitably create roadblocks where you're just going to be at a standstill and the customer is going to leave and get a better polished appearance and presentation from somebody else who's going to inevitably take all the hard work you put towards this deal and use it to their advantage. So let's get smarter and let's start thinking for the customer and expecting these rebuttals and go back into our toolbox and use things to our advantage, but always presenting it as if you're on their side. In a nutshell, we've lost touch with sales. We've made it all about us and forgot that this is a two-way street. You know, we do these things every single day. Customers come in every 3 to 5 years. Who's better? Well, if the customer is better at negotiating and understanding you because they read some, Google articles and a YouTube video, then that's pretty sad, considering you see them every single day in all shapes, forms, and sizes, and you're able to be aware that this is inevitably gonna happen, but yet you forget in the moment and start responding as a human who selfishly is just chasing a check. And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with chasing a check, but if we know that the way that we're chasing it is making it harder to obtain, then we obviously have to change our pace. Most importantly, nobody notices normal, so we need to be extraordinary in everything that we do. It's very simple when you think about it. If customers are looking for a very expected combative experience with a salesperson and you are everything opposite of that, you will by default increase the likelihood of your sales by at least half. People are people, and they will always react a certain way when they're treated a certain way. So if we know that reacting a bad way is going to get them faster out the door, then we need to adjust. Your success in this industry is paramount to you understanding people, so get better at understanding and responding to people. Make sure you maintain control, but a friendly atmosphere for them. Go the extra mile and be an extraordinary you. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, and I look forward to all your growth and future videos.
And I'm feeling good.